Good morning, children. Today we will begin what we call OJI, or also called cumulative frequency curve. So we begin with OJIs, which are also called cumulative frequency curves. Now I'm sure this you must have also done in your smaller classes in the 10th and in the 9th, but it is a part of your portion in the 11th statistics as well. So we shall be doing it. Now, the OJI or a cumulative curve can be obtained on a graph paper, or you can do it directly on your copy without a graph paper by two methods. One is the less than method and one is the more than method. Now, if you see on the board, I have written a question. Draw a OJI from the following data. Marks given 0 to 10, 10 to 20, so on, right up to 60 to 70. Kindly copy this down in your copy. And the frequencies are given 4, 4, 7, 10, 12, 8, and 5. Now we can prepare the OJI, like I said, in two methods, the less than method and the more than method. So first of all, what do we do with this data? We convert them into the less than and the more than cumulative frequency distribution. So here you will write cumulative, on the side, cumulative distribution. We have marks here. Okay, and then we will have number of students, frequencies, then again marks and frequencies. Now, first, when we are moving from the less than, we will take less than all the upper limits of the class. We write less than 10, then less than 20, less than 30, less than 40, less than 50, less than 60, and then less than 70. So when we are doing the less than series, children, we are taking the upper class limits. Now what do we do with the frequency? The frequency will be cumulated, added up. So the first one will be 4, 4 plus 4, 8, 8 plus 7, 15, 15 plus 10, 25, 25 plus 12, 37, 37 plus 3, 45, 45 plus 5, 50. This is how we have converted the data into a less than series. Similarly, we will also convert this data in the more than series. How do you do the more than series? The more than series, you will take the lower class limit. So you write more than 0, more than 10, more than 20, more than 30, more than 40, more than 40, more than 50, more than 60. So this is how we are converting into the more than series. Now what do we do with the frequency that we have? The maximum is 50. So more than 0 would be the maximum of 15. Then from this table you will keep minusing the values. 50 minus 4, 46. 50 minus 8, 42. 50 minus 15, 35. 50 minus 25, 25. 50 minus 37, 13. 50 minus 45, this is your 5. So the first thing we have done is we have converted the data into the less than and the more than series. Now comes how do you plot it on a graph. If you have a graph paper, fair enough. If you don't have, you can directly draw on the copy. So now we will draw the less than. We draw, let's say, first the less than, then we will draw the more than. We have the two axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. On the x-axis, we will take the marks. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 10. What are these? These are the marks. And on the y series, we will take the number of students. Number of students also would be maximum up to 50. So let's take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We can take one more, 60. Now, plot it. Less than 10 is 4. Less than 10 is 4. 4 will be something less than that. Plus. Then less than 20 is 8. 8 will be something there. Put a dot over there. Less than 30 is 15. 15 is there. Then less than 40 is 25. 25 is there. Less than 50 is 37. 37 is there. Less than 60 is 45. Use the scale so that you go up straight. And less than 70 is 50. 50 would be here. Joining these points up, we get an upward rising curve. This is by the less than method. You can write here by less than method. We get a upward rising curve when we are doing the less than method. And the same thing now we will plot for the more than method. Keeping the same values. Ten, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 40, this is 50, 60, and 70. What are these? These are the marks. Similarly, number of students 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. This is F or number of students, frequency. Now we will plot the more than. More than 0 is 50. More than 0 is 50. Put a dot over there. Okay. More than 10 is 46. 46 will be somewhere here. More than 20 is 42. 42 will be somewhere here. More than 30 is 35. Here, 35. More than 40 is 25. 25 is here. Take it. More than 50 is 13. 13 here up. And then more than 60 is 5. 5 is here. Joining the points, we find that in more than series, we get a downward sloping curve. In the more than, we will get a downward sloping curve. So, this is how we draw an ogive, which is also called the cumulative frequency curve. They can be drawn by two methods. One is the less than method and one is the more than method. Now, in the exam specifically, it could be asked of you, draw the ogive curve using the less than method or draw a more than cumulative frequency curve, which is another name for ogive, more than can be. Or they can ask you to draw both in the same. You can have the less than and more than. So in the same diagram, you can also have the more than coming here in one diagram itself. When you are asked to draw both, so you don't need to draw two. You just need to draw one diagram, and in that one diagram, you can show both the rising curve and the falling curve or the declining curve. Remember, in the less than curve, will give you a rising curve, and the more than method, it will give you a declining curve or a downward sloping curve. This is a ogive, also called cumulative frequency curve. The main thing, children, remember is how you translate the data to make them into less than or more than. For the less than, again I am repeating, pay attention, you will use the upper limits of the class using the word less than. So less than 10, less than 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. This is what we done over here. And then the frequencies which are given to you, you will add them up, accumulate them. Like 4 plus 4, 8 plus 7, 15, 15 plus 10, 25, and so on. We are adding the frequencies. We are accumulating the frequencies in the less than method. Okay? In the more than method, we will use the lower class limit. More than, if you see here, more than 0, more than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. What happens to the frequency? What was the maximum we had found out? 50. So the first value 50 will be for more than 0. In other words, everything is more than 0. Everything is more than 0. Then from the maximum, we will minus the frequency obtained from the less than. So 50 minus 4, 46. 50 minus 8, 42. 50 minus 15, 35. 50 minus 25, 25. 50 minus 37, 30. 15 minus 45, 5. This is the most important thing. That is translating the data given into a less than or a more than. Okay, once you have this, then you need to plot them either on a graph paper. If you don't have a graph paper, you can directly draw it, keeping the scale normally, use a scale pencil, and the value should be more or less equal. These places are talking about. Okay. Then when you plot the less than series, you find that you get an upward rising curve. This is by less than method. This is by more than method. So in the exam, either one could be asked, or you could be asked to draw using both less than and more than method. When I say when you get both less than more than method, you can draw it in a single diagram. So here you will place the more than, you will get a downward sloping curve. You don't need to draw them separately. If you draw them separately also, there is no problem. Is that okay? Have you understood, children? If you have, may I get a thumbs up, please? Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Kindly copy this down quickly, and I will give you one question more, which you will do as a part of your home practice. Okay. So the question is, I'm giving you marks and frequencies. The marks given is 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 10, 30 to 35, 35 to 40. And variable frequencies are 7, 10, 20, 13, 12, 10, 13, 12, 10, 14 is 9. This is a question which you will do at home as a practice, so that you know exactly how an ogive or a cumulative frequency curve is made. And you will do this both using less than and more than method. Draw an ogive or draw a cumulative frequency curve using the less than and the more than method. Copy this down. This is for your home assignment. Gives you a practice on the topic. Copy that down quickly. Then we have a last topic in this chapter, which is called arithmetic line graph. Keep your book with you. Open to page 53. Open your book to page 53. Page 53. Arithmetic line graph. Page 53. He says an arithmetic line graph is also called a time series graph. In this graph, time, that is to be in hour, day, week, month, year, etc., is plotted along the x-axis and the value of the variable, that is the time series data, is plotted along the y-axis. A line graph by joining these plotted points thus obtained is called an arithmetic line graph or a time series graph. It helps in understanding the trend, the periodicity, etc. in long-term time series data. Here you can see from figure 4.9. Now figure 4.9, that for the period from 1993 to 1994 to 2013-14, the imports were more than the exports all through this period. You will notice that the value of both the exports and imports rising rapidly after 2001-2, and also the gap between the two, that is imports and exports, has widened after 2001-2002. Now if you see children, the table is given there, table 4.11. The years is given, the exports is given, and the imports are given. This we have drawn using a time series graph. What have we done? Again, it's a simple graph. On the x-axis, we have taken the years, and on the y-axis, we have taken either the exports or the imports. Now you see, the exports is with a thin line shown, and the imports is with a dark line. Using the data which is given there, in 1993, exports were 698. So you see, if you want children a big graph, then you will use these values as small. It would be 10, 1000, 2000, 3000. That depends how big or small a graph we wish to plot. Here he has kept spaces of 5,000. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, etc. is on the y-axis. However, on the x-axis, he has plotted the years. Now it is very simple plotting. Against the year, we put a thin line for the exports, and let's say we use a thick line for the imports. Or children, if you have colored pencils, if you have two color pencils, you can draw them using different colors. A different color for export and a different color for imports. So then you don't have to bother about the thick and thin line. And then the index on the top, like he has shown over here, you can show if you have used a red pencil for exports, and if you have used a blue pencil for imports, you will show it in the key. Is that okay? So there's nothing much to teach in a time series graph. It is simply plotting and joining the lines, we will get a time series graph. Okay? However, the main points here is that both must be identified differently. And how do we identify it? Either by using different color pencils or thin and thick line. These are the two options we have. Okay? However, whatever you use, make sure you show it in the key, what you have done. Is that okay, children? Is that okay? If you have understood, can I get a thumbs up? Okay? Good. Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. Okay? So all the topics that are in the chapter has been covered. Tomorrow, we will take the next topic of this, that is the arithmetic measures of central tendency. So tomorrow again, I will now take maybe 3 weekdays in the week for statistics and 3 days for another 3 days for economics. So tomorrow again, I will be taking up arithmetic mean, that is the first in measures of central tendency. Tomorrow I will be taking up arithmetic mean. Okay? So any problem, any question to be asked, children? We have a few minutes. If you have, we can discuss it. If not, any of you have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. And if you don't have, is that okay with all of you? The class begins at 8:30 sharp. Okay. So please be on time, and we will continue tomorrow. If there is no question, then we will stop till here and practice this question which I have given you for the OJI. And we will be back tomorrow with a new topic, measures of central tendency, that is arithmetic mean. Till then, all of you have a nice day. Have a nice day and be safe.